welcome back to Undertow, Realms podcast, taking you on winding roads of the weird and the wicked. I'm your host, Fred Greenhalgh. Here in Maine, we're experiencing the last few weeks of what's been a glorious summer, and as the brilliant sun pierces the trees, you're just starting to see the first leaves turn red, a journey that will inevitably lead to all the brilliant colors of autumn, followed by a long, cold, and desolate winter. But before then, the high season of haunting will be upon us, and we get into that spooky season spirit today with some classic tales of the macabre brought to life with a full cast, sound effects, and music, directed and produced by my late friend and business partner, Bill Dufries. These were originally part of a collection called Nightmares on Congress Street, Bill's initiative to bring BBC radio drama to the States back in early 2000s. Today, you can hear many of these stories, as well as some new ones, on the Midnight Matinees podcast by Pocket Universe Productions, which you can find wherever podcasts are served. And today, we have a classic bloody tale of being careful what you wish for, The Monkey's Paw by W.W. Jacobs.
Without, the night was cold and wet. But in the small parlor of Laburnum Villa, the blinds were drawn and the fire burned brightly. Father and son were at chess, the former, who possessed the ideas about the game involving radical changes, putting his king into such sharp and unnecessary perils that it even provoked comment from the white-haired old lady knitting placidly by the fire.
Hark! It's the wind,
said Mr. White, who, having seen a fatal mistake after it was too late, was amiably desirous of preventing his son from seeing it.
I'm listening,
said the latter, grimly surveying the board as he stretched out his hand.
Check.
I should hardly think that he'd come tonight.
Mate.
Now that's the worst of living so far out. Of all the beastly, slushy, out-of-the-way places to live in, this is the worst. Pathway's a bog and the road's a torrent. I don't know what people are thinking about. I suppose because only 2 houses on the road are let, they think it doesn't matter.
Never mind, dear. Perhaps you'll win the next one.
What? 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 There he is.
Oh.
Morris.
I can't believe he came out in this weather.
Mr. White returned to the room, followed by a tall, burly man, beady of eye and rubicund of visage.
Mother, Herbert, my old friend, Sergeant Major Morris.
Good evening.
Sir.
The sergeant major shook hands and, taking the proffered seat by the fire, watched contentedly while his host got out whiskey in tumblers and stood a small copper kettle on the fire. At the third glass, his eyes got brighter, and he began to talk, the little family circle regarding with eager interest this visitor from distant parts, as he squared his broad shoulders in the chair and spoke of strange scenes and doughty deeds, of wars and plagues and strange peoples.
21 years of it. When he went away, he was a slip of a youth in the warehouse, and now look at him.
He don't look to have taken much harm.
I'd like to go to India myself.
Father.
Just to look around a bit, you know.
Better where you are.
I should like to see those old temples and fakirs and jugglers. What was that you started telling me the other day about a monkey's paw or something, Morris?
Nothing. Leastwise, nothing worth hearing.
Monkey's paw?
Well, it's just a bit of what you might call magic, perhaps.
Here, let me fill your glass.
To look at it, it's just an ordinary little paw tied to a mummy.
Mind if I see it?
Yeah, here you are.
What is the special about it? Pass it here, Herbert.
Here, Father.
It had a spell put on it by an old fakir, a very holy man. He wanted to show that fate ruled people's lives, and those that interfered with it did to their sorrow. He put a spell on it, so that 3 separate men could each have 3 wishes from it.
I don't believe it. Well, why don't you have 3, sir?
I have.
And did you really have the 3 wishes granted?
I did.
And has anybody else wished?
The first man had his 3 wishes, yes. I don't know what the first 2 were, but the third was for death. That's how I got the paw.
Well, if you've had your 3 wishes, it's no good to you now then, Morris. So, what do you keep it for?
Fancy, I suppose. I did have some idea of selling it, but I don't think I will. It's caused enough mischief already. Besides, people won't buy. They think it's a fairy tale, some of them. And those who don't think anything of it want to try it first and pay me afterward.
Well, if you could have another 3 wishes, would you have them now then?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, what are you doing? Oi, not the fire.
Careful.
Oh, better let it burn.
If you don't want it, Morris, give it to me.
I won't. I threw it on the fire. If you keep it, don't blame me for what happens. I'll pitch it on the fire again like a sensible man.
Oh, no. How do you do it?
Hold it up in your right hand and wish aloud. But I warn you of the consequences.
Sounds like the Arabian Nights. Don't you think you might wish for 4 pairs of hands for me to help set supper?
All right, then. All right.
No! If you must wish for something sensible.
Mr. White dropped the talisman back into his pocket and, placing chairs, motioned his friend to the table. In the business of supper, the talisman was partly forgotten, and afterward the 3 sat listening in enthralled fashion to a second installment of the soldier's adventures in India.
If the tale about the monkey paw is not more truthful than those he's been telling us, we shan't make much out of it.
Did you give him anything for it, Father?
Oh, trifle. He didn't want it, but I made him take it. And he pressed me again to throw it away.
Likely. Why, we're going to be rich, famous, and happy. Wish to be an emperor, Father, to begin with. Then you can't be henpecked.
Oh, you! Oh, why, you rapscallion! Father, what are you doing with that ugly thing?
I don't know what to wish for, and that's a fact. It seems to me I've got all I want.
If you only cleared the house, you'd be quite happy, wouldn't you? Well, wish for £200 then. That'll just do it.
Well, where's the harm?
Right.
I wish for £200. Oh,
What's wrong, Father?
it moved.
Come on.
As I wished, it twisted in my hands like a snake.
No. Well, I don't see the money, and I bet we never shall. Here. Let me.
Oh, just put it on the table, dear. It must have been your fancy, Father.
Never mind, though. There's no harm done, but it gave me a shock all the same.
They sat down by the fire again while the 2 men finished their pipes. Outside, the wind was higher than ever, and the old man started nervously at the sound of a door banging upstairs. A silence unusual and depressing settled upon all 3, which lasted until the old couple rose to retire for the night. In the brightness of the wintry sun next morning, as it streamed over the breakfast table, there was an air of prosaic wholesomeness about the room, which it had lacked on the previous night, and the dirty, shriveled little paw was pitched on the sideboard with a carelessness which betokened no great belief in its virtues.
I suppose all old soldiers are the same. The idea of our listening to such nonsense. How could wishes be granted in these days? And if they could, how could £200 hurt you, Father?
Might drop on his head from the sky.
Morris said things happen so naturally that you might, if you so wished, attribute it to coincidence.
Well, don't break into the money before I come back. I'm afraid it'll turn you into a mean, avaricious man. And we shall have to disown you.
Not likely, not likely.
His mother laughed and followed him to the door, watched him down the road, and returning to the breakfast table, was very happy at the expense of her husband's credulity. All of which did not prevent her from scurrying to the door at the postman's knock, nor prevent her from referring somewhat shortly to retired sergeant majors of bibulous habits when she found that the post brought a tailor's bill.
Father, tea's up.
Good, I'm famished.
Herbert will have some more of his funny remarks, I expect, when he comes home.
I dare say. But for all that, the thing moved in my hand. That I will swear to.
You thought it did.
I say it did. There was no thought about it. What's the matter?
His wife made no reply. She was watching the mysterious movements of a man outside who, peering in an undecided fashion at the house, appeared to be trying to make up his mind to enter. In mental connection with the 200 pounds, she noticed that the stranger was well dressed and wore a silk hat of glossy newness. 3 times he paused at the gate and then walked on again. The 4th time he stood with his hand upon it and then, with sudden resolution, flung it open and walked up the path. Mrs. White at the same moment placed her hands behind her and, hurriedly unfastening the strings of her apron, put that useful article of apparel beneath the cushion of her chair. She brought the stranger, who seemed ill at ease, into the room. He gazed furtively at Mrs. White and listened in a preoccupied fashion as the old lady apologized for the appearance of the room and her husband's coat, a garment he usually reserved for the garden. She then waited patiently for him to broach his business, but he was at first strangely silent.
I was asked to call. I come from Moore and Megan.
Is anything the matter? Has anything happened to Herbert? What is it?
Mother.
What is it?
Sit down now. Don't jump to conclusions. You've not brought bad news, I'm sure, sir.
I'm sorry.
Is he hurt?
Badly hurt. But he is not in any pain.
Oh, thank God. Thank God for that.
She broke off suddenly as the sinister meaning of the assurance dawned upon her, and she saw the awful confirmation of her fears in the other's averted face. She caught her breath, and turning to her slower-witted husband, laid her trembling hand upon his. There was a long silence.
He was caught in the machinery.
Caught in the machinery. Oh, yes.
Mr. White sat staring blankly out the window, and taking his wife's hand between his own, pressed it as he had been wont to do in their old courting days nearly 40 years before.
He was the only one left to us. It is hard.
The firm wished me to convey their sincere sympathy with you in your great loss. I beg that you will understand that I am only their servant and merely obeying orders. I was to say that Moore and Meggins disclaim all responsibility. They admit no liability at all, but in consideration of your son's services, they wish to present you with a certain sum as compensation.
Mr. White dropped his wife's hand, and rising to his feet, gazed with a look of horror at his visitor. His dry lips shaped the words.
How much?
200 pounds.
Unconscious of his wife's shriek, the old man smiled faintly, put out his hands like a sightless man, and dropped, a senseless heap, to the floor. In the huge new cemetery, some 2 miles distant, the old people buried their dead and came back to a house steeped in shadow and silence. It was all over so quickly that at first they could hardly realize it, and remained in a state of expectation, as though of something else to happen, something else which was to lighten this load too heavy for old hearts to bear. But the days passed, and expectation gave place to resignation, the hopeless resignation of the old, sometimes miscalled apathy. Sometimes they hardly exchanged a word, for now they had nothing to talk about, and their days were long to weariness. It was about a week after that the old man, waking suddenly in the night, stretched out his hand and found himself alone. The room was in darkness, and the sound of subdued weeping came from the window. He raised himself in bed and listened.
Come back to bed. You will be cold.
It is colder for my son.
The sound of her sobs died away on his ears. The bed was warm and his eyes heavy with sleep. He dozed fitfully and then slept until a sudden wild cry from his wife awoke him with a start.
The monkey's paw! The monkey's paw!
Oh, where is it? What's the
I
matter
want
now?
it! You've not destroyed it!
Oh, it's in the parlour on the bracket. Why?
Oh, I only just thought of it! Why didn't I think of it before? Why didn't you think of it?
Think of what?
The other 2 wishes! We've only had one!
Oh, was that not enough?
No, we'll have one more. Go down and get it quickly and wish our boy alive again.
Good God, you're mad!
Get it! Get it quickly and wish. Oh, my boy, my boy!
Get back to bed! You don't know what you're saying.
We had the first wish granted. Why not the second?
A coincidence.
Go and get it and wish.
He went down in the darkness and felt his way to the parlor and then to the mantelpiece. The talisman was in its place, and a horrible fear that the unspoken wish might bring his mutilated son before him ere he could escape from the room seized upon him, and he caught his breath as he had found that he had lost the direction of the door. His brow cold with sweat, he felt his way round the table and groped along the wall until he found himself in the small passage with the unwholesome thing in his hand. Even his wife's face seemed changed as he entered the room. It was white and expectant, and to his fears seemed to have an unnatural look upon it. He was afraid of her.
Wish.
I wish my son alive again.
The talisman fell to the floor, and he regarded it shudderingly. Then he sank trembling into a chair as the old woman, with burning eyes, walked to the window and raised the blind. He sat until he was chilled with cold, glancing occasionally at the figure of the old woman peering through the window. The candle end, which had burned below the rim of the china candlestick, was throwing pulsating shadows on the ceiling and walls, until, with a flicker larger than the rest, it expired. The old man, with an unspeakable sense of relief at the failure of the talisman, crept back to his bed, and a minute or two afterward, the old woman came silently and apathetically beside him. Neither spoke, but both lay silently listening to the ticking of the clock. A stair creaked, and a squeaky mouse scurried noisily through the wall. The darkness was oppressive, and after lying for some time screwing up his courage, the husband took the box of matches and, striking one, went downstairs for a candle. At the foot of the stairs the match went out, and he paused to strike another, and the same moment a knock, so quiet and stealthy as to be scarcely audible, sounded on the front door. The matches fell from his hand. He stood motionless, his breath suspended until the knock was repeated. Then he turned and fled swiftly back to his room and closed the door behind him. A third knock sounded through the house.
What's that?
That's a rat. It passed me on the stairs.
It's Herbert! It's Herbert!
And what are you gonna do?
It's my boy! It's Herbert! I forgot it was 2 miles away!
No.
What are you
For God's
holding me
sake, no.
for?
For
I
God's sake,
must open
don't
the
let
door.
it in!
You're afraid of your own son! Let me go! I'm coming, Herbert!
No.
I'm coming!
Oh, please!
There was another knock. And another. The old woman, with a sudden wrench, broke free and ran from the room. Her husband followed to the landing and called after her appealingly as she hurried downstairs. He heard the chain rattle back and the bottom bolt drawn slowly and stiffly from the socket. Then the old woman's voice, strained and panting.
Calm down! I can't
Where is
reach
it?
it!
Her husband was on his hand and knees, groping wildly on the floor in search of the paw. If he could only find it before the thing outside got in. A perfect fusillade of knocks reverberated through the house, and he heard the scraping of a chair as his wife put it down in the passage against the door. He heard the creaking of the bolt as it came slowly back, and at the same moment he found the monkey's paw and frantically breathed his third and last wish. The knocking ceased suddenly, although the echoes of it were still in the house. He heard the chair drawn back and the door opened. A cold wind rushed up the staircase, and a long, loud wail of disappointment and misery from his wife gave him the courage to run down by her side, and then to the gate beyond. The street lamp flickering opposite shone on a quiet and deserted road.
And that was The Monkey's Paw, a story that exemplifies a song lyric from Metallica. Be careful what you wish for, you might regret it. And if you enjoyed this twisted tale, you'll be in good hands, pun intended, next week as we delve into another classic tale of horror here on Undertow, gearing up for some new original material that'll be coming out in October. Today's story was adapted from the public domain short story The Monkey's Paw by W.W. Jacobs, produced by Mind's Eye Productions, and podcast by arrangement with Pocket Universe Productions. Undertow is a production of Realm, hosted by yours truly, Fred Greenhalgh, and executive produced by me and Molly Barton.